Okay.
It had to say,
Maybe. Where's my record button?
you gotta plug in your mic.
Oh. Yeah,
Okay.
will you push that down? Please? I'll find my record.
This
They moved.
Do the first one.
So it didn't update?
Did an update, but.
Needless to say, I didn't get to see much of the old western.
So we're good. We're live
It's always something there,
and being recorded.
right?
It's seven.
Call the meeting to order.
Please stand for the pledge and the prayer, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing for the prayer. O Lord God, we come before thee in prayer, acknowledging the blessing of government and administration. Thou art a God of order and hast blessed us with the establishment of governing officials to provide civil harmony and concord. Be with us in this meeting and give us strength and wisdom to pursue goals which please thee. Grant us the courage to support those things which are right and according to thy ordinances. For we ask it in God's name. Amen. At this time, if there's anybody here to do their prayer, this is the time to do it.
Roll call.
Mullany,
Here.
Heidemann,
Here.
Darga.
Yes.
Bailey.
Here.
Zappa.
Here. Approval of the agenda.
So move to approve if there are no additions or deletions.
Or. Motion.
Item of discussion on unfinished business. One thing we haven't dealt with is the policy that we adopted for,
Still in effect.
no, but for the enforcement over at,
Soil conservation, no? Building zone,
our building and zoning department.
okay.
The Soil Conservation Service told us that there was an incorrect statement in there about what triggers the need for a permit. It was incomplete. They left out the fact that disturbing an acre of ground has to be included under law in the policy. It says 500 feet or from a lake or a stream, but it doesn't say
Anything about acreage.
disturbing an acre or more of ground. And so we need to add that. If you don't want to add it today, I understand that, but that still needs to be on our docket of things to do because we never did it and it's state law.
Disturbing an acre of ground near what?
Then you need a permit from Eagle.
Anywhere.
Well, you need a permit for soil erosion control.
On highly erodible land though, only though. I don't think so. Right.
I'm sorry, I don't understand your question.
Highly erodible land only.
No,
No,
on any land,
any-
an acre or more of ground disturbance triggers the need for a permit. And the point is, you have to get that permit.
I think he's looking, if you're so close to the water, lakes, rivers, stuff like that.
So many feet from a waterway.
That's
Yes,
correct,
yeah.
but
That's
in
part of it.
addition, it doesn't matter how close you are to
Yeah.
the water, you
It
can
could
be
be
in the
a
middle of a
development.
farm
You
stand.
could be up in Malky, is what she's saying, acre of land, if you're
Acre.
disturbing 1 acre of land, needs a soil erosion.
But how does that fit with the building permit? Because they have to get that
Yeah.
permit first.
See, that's never been
So I think
in
that's
effect
a
here ever.
committee conversation to
Yep,
get
I
to.
think
that.
we better get
It
that.
doesn't matter how close you are to the.
I guess not.
Correct.
Yeah,
I guess not.
that's insane.
It's state law is what it is.
Since when? Whitmer? I think it's
This law was
older than-
passed
Well, let's-
20 years ago.
I'll make a
Yeah.
motion, we put, well, I'll just
we got-
recommend that we go to committee with
I've
that.
never heard of that.
And we got a motion on the table
What
right
committee?
now.
For,
Well, yeah, I don't
approving the
think we're
agenda.
gonna need to go to committee. I think we ought to take care of it. First of all, we've got, isn't it under the 30-day rule right now?
It is no, it's.
That
Yes,
should be-
50 days. It's been noticed and it's 50 days.
So, but
What-
it hasn't
been
been
noticed?
50 days.
The ordinance that you passed, are you talking about the,
I'm not talking about the civil infraction.
okay.
This is the policy statement.
Oh, the one that we
Okay.
did a while ago.
Yes.
Okay,
Well, let's
So
do
that-
it. I
Presque
think we-
County Building Department
Okay.
Policies and Procedures.
Okay,
I
well,
was
all
on
right.
I was on the more recent event that we did, so.
And you think that should go under unfinished business?
Well, I'm raising the question.
Well,
We to
I think
address
we
it.
ought to address, yeah, I think we ought to. take
Okay,
care
so
of
I'll amend my motion to put that on for unfinished business about the soil erosion.
Thank you.
And then include that for my approval for the agenda.
And we'll have a copy of this so we can read it about this.
I'd like
I'm
to see
sure
a
it was a
copy.
long
I'd
time
like
ago.
to
We
see
all got copies.
The only thing that.
Yeah.
changed-
Copy of the law. That I want to read. For me,
We need did you support that?
Yes, support.
Okay.
I thought he did.
That way we can discuss the heck out of it when we get
Okay,
there.
we gotta stop, because we
Okay.
got too many motions going here so I can track it. We had a motion for the original agenda as is. Then it was amended.
But we didn't act on it.
I know, but then when you do another motion, it's a different person.
rescind your motion.
So that's, I'm not rescinding, I'm not asking to rescind, I just wanna know where we're at before cause I had Mr. Dargan and Mr. Tellini.
Oh, okay, so yes, a second.
That's what I'm trying to
Okay,
get to. I
yes.
already had someone second it, so if you're amending it, now you're
Right.
voting on amending the motion before you even act on it, so. We can add it, but I just wanna make sure, is Mr. Tellini the one willing
Is it
to
okay with you
amend-
if you add that?
to support the amending the motion to add that topic?
Otherwise, you gotta withdraw and
Right,
amend it.
want the minutes to be clear, so. Add
I
it.
do
I'll-
too. Do we have support?
Yes, he.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Verbalized.
All right, we have a motion and support to adopt the agenda with the addition of the soil erosion.
It's not,
Policy.
I know, it's the building policy.
Building department
Building,
policies
yeah.
and procedures.
uh, Under unfinished business. Any more discussion? If not, all in favor,
Aye.
opposed, motion carried. Conflict disclosure. Anyone have a conflict with anything on the agenda today? Hearing none, we'll go to the minutes of the meeting of July 26, 2024.
Move to as presented.
Support.
There are motion and support to approve the minutes of the meeting of July 26, 2024. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Claims audit.
Yeah, we did the claims on Monday. The only thing that's been added since we had our meeting on Monday was Emmett County's. They give us credit for $12,391.53.
Which is on page 4.
Right. And then we still owe them $7,100.47. So out of the 19,491, 92, almost like to a penny, yeah. So that's almost 2/3 we got
Fantastic.
credit for, so,
And that's for.
You know, that-
everything else,
Pickup.
yeah, everything else, was pretty. Our monthly stuff, but, our clerk did make a couple comments that some of the stuff is still back in June or July and August, so, we're gonna have to,
It's accrued back. to the
Accrued
June
back,
budget
yes,
already, isn't
yeah.
it?
Emmett's already in here then.
well, it's on your new
Right
one,
here.
yes, yep, on page 4.
Page 4.
No, that number is calculated into the
Yeah,
bottom
yeah.
number.
All right,
You don't have to do any math.
So I'll just make a motion that we,
what's the,
well, I would approve our claims audit of $134,109.35. That's my motion.
support, what I got?
Motion and support to approve the claims in the amount of $134,109.35. Any more discussion?
Yeah, our dues for MAC is $78.45 a year,
Yes,
and Motorola's must be for the sheriff's department.
Is that the 42?
Yeah,
That's
42
for
thousand.
the
school.
phone system. It's the annual support. You approved the contract a little bit. This is the invoice.
Oh,
for
yeah,
the annual-
okay.
Where they operate our phone, the 911 phone
It's
system.
the phone
independent of our
system.
phone system here.
All right,
There we go.
well, that's it.
Okay, so,
Brett
Yeah.
Hyman,
Yes.
Dargan,
Yes.
Staley.
Yep.
Papa,
Yeah,
Tony.
Yes,
motion carried. Citizens appearing before the board. Mr. Hamburg? Hmm. Okay, we're to unfinished business, soil erosion or the building and zoning policy.
Thank you for putting this back on. I was keeping a running list of all the things that have come up that need to be taken care of, and this one was hanging fire. When we had all the discussions with our building department staff, the staff presented this statement of policy, and we went over it several times, made a number of changes, and we were very satisfied with it. However, and it had the stuff about when to enter a property and when not to. So I sent it over to soil erosion because they have those problems too, about when unlawful entry. So they looked it over and they utilized that, but she, looking at this, said, hey, that statement doesn't correspond with state law. You need to change that. So the statement she's referring to was at section 1.1.4.2, the current statement reads, any construction within 500 feet of a lake, river, or stream will require a soil erosion permit to be issued prior to the issuance of a building permit. That's a correct statement, but it's an incomplete statement because it should say any construction within 500 feet of a lake, river, or stream, or any construction disturbing an acre or more of ground will require the permit. And that's been in the law
Well, no,
for 20 years.
or better, because I remember when they did Glenn's Market, that's an acre of property there. They did have to have them there. And that's more
so
than
disturbing you're
Yeah,
talking about
30 years ago.
excavation.
your excavation, yes.
Well, just disturbing if they were
Yeah,
taking
well,
all the
you-
tops.
You pull the topsoil off, you're disturbing it, but it's the same thing as
And
excavation.
why I was down there looking at those condos they're bringing up, doing in Presque, and they're more than 500 feet
And
away
they
from the
have-
lake or stream, but
But
they had all the silt fences up because they disturb more than an acre of ground.
Yep,
So,
I wonder if that lawsuit, the right to farm act supersedes that law.
that
Well,
might be a little bit different though.
okay, so farming,
it's
Farming,
not
right up
farming,
no,
that
no.
was just for construction.
Well, you disturb
Right.
the ground when you work it.
well, correct, but agriculture is different than what.
Must
what
be-
this- what
Must
this-
not be, it's.
She said for construction
Yeah,
purposes.
Alright.
only for construction, yes. And now that,
all right,
But
I didn't
you're
say
saying
it,
that-
our statement says
Right.
that any construction within
Construction, yes.
500 feet of a lake, river, or stream, or disturbing an acre or more of ground, so that's the addition
yeah,
we
even,
need.
even
Or
back,
disturbing an acre or more of ground.
because we've never pulled this for stripping topsoil.
No,
you have it?
well, you're
I've
not
never even heard of
building anything.
Huh?
You're
This
not
is for
building anything.
construction.
Only during
Okay.
building.
Any
I guess I must
construction.
have misunderstood.
So can we have a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion and we add that to our policy for the building and zoning.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion support to add the language that was missing regarding more acre or more of land.
And I'm gonna give this to the clerk. And I'm sure Kathy won't even remember we did this. So,
For building.
That's what I'm.
So is there any more discussion?
only that once we do it, we should let the new soil conservation folks know that we've done it and
Yeah,
corrected it.
Sure.
Does this also require the 30-day?
No,
This
this
is an
is,
internal
this
policy.
is a policy, it's just that it.
Okay.
the ordinance.
It's really important because they have to do that before they get the building
Right,
permit.
yeah, I get that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm thankful that you brought it to our attention, so cleaned up.
The building and zoning guy will have to notify them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. When they come in for their permit, yep.
And there's been problems with that in the past, so we need to clean it up.
Right, exactly. Yeah, if there's no more discussion, let's have a vote.
Yeah, we'll do a roll call.
Yeah, yeah, I think we should, yep,
Darga,
yes.
Bailey,
Yes,
Papa,
Yeah,
Tony,
Yes.
Iteman.
Yes,
motion carried.
Thank you.
Thank you. New business. Unsolved agreement. Code red.
There we go.
Code red. It's not gonna cost us anymore, right?
Well, no, that's, so we got our renewal for Code Red and it was astronomical. It was up excessive of what, 13,000, Anne
And
Marie?
you started off at like 9.
So
It was
no,
8.
yeah, so when I started here in 19, it was like, before we had iPods, it was like 7,000.
It's $8,888,
And then it bumped up
$1,000.
$1,000. So we were roughly under 10 grand. And then it just kept climbing. So I naturally reached out and I got quotes from 4 other companies. I watched demos. I met with them online extensively about their products. They all offered something a little different. Some were better than others. They all had good things and bad things about them, as well as Code Red does as well. But I was really ticked because when I first came on board, Unsolved, the big thing was go with Code Red because their pricing is locked in forever.
Mhm.
Well,
see
okay,
how-
you know how that goes, right?
The person stood here in this meeting with us. and told us.
Yeah, and they
Yeah,
told us that.
so,
Me and Mike were here.
Yep.
so they sent us a renewal and I said, I'm sorry, but here's what I've done. I've done some research. I've met with these other companies. I would like to send you the quotes that they've given me. And she said, oh. So I did. I sent her the quotes, so she could see. And, I said, naturally, we will be going with another company. What's the process to begin transferring over come August? For all of our contacts and all that, and she was nice, but she said, let me go back and see what I can come up with. So I'm thrilled that they came up with something because to move all of our people in our current system to a new system, A, it causes confusion to our citizens. B, we'll lose people. C, people will get frustrated with my office. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
So is Code Red the perfect solution? It's a good solution. We're already in it. And now we got the pricing down. So if we sign into a 5-year contract, which I don't know, Anne Marie, did you give them copies?
What are they training?
Yeah, I sent it to him in their.
What's that?
in their email, but I did make.
So basically what would happen is, so we
Right.
own our data. We own our
Oh,
contacts in the
it's so
system.
funny.
So my request was basically for them
Yeah.
to work with me to transfer that data to a new company. So there's files that they have to email me and I have to make sure,
The emergency system.
yeah, in the notification system. So the contract, she came back right away and she said, oh, great, and let me see what I can do. And so this is what they came up with, which, I think is spectacular. The only thing, Anne Marie, now that I'm looking at this, I don't see that it includes iPods.
Yeah, I was wondering, I just thought about that.
Oh, yeah, it is. Okay, so it does.
What's that?
If you look on page 2, the very top line, it says iPods
okay.
integration.
Quantity one.
So, so if we sign this 5-year contract, it's capped at $9,000 a year. So it's
We
way
were paying
cheaper,
800 or almost $900 more than that
yeah,
with the 2 before.
right now.
What's
And then
iPods?
iPods is the national learning system. So, for example,
Federal emergency.
it's federal emergency type, so, or, like the Hawaii accidental notification that went out, so that was through iPods.
All right.
So it's a national notification system, so it ties us in with the ability to do that if necessary.
And that's included.
And that's included in this. So typically, we were paying $1,000 extra each year to do that.
Well, congratulations for doing that.
Well, they were really ticking me off.
Well,
Sometimes you just gotta pick the bull by the horn and just
Yeah.
that's
bring
one
them to the
thing.
water.
They really.
And I don't
And
think
they
they
want-
want,
and they want
if
the
you didn't have
business,
the
yep.
other quotes, they wouldn't have talked to you.
No,
Probably not.
nope,
No, they would have just said, here's
that's,
what you
that's
pay.
what you
and-
got.
So
This
is
is what you
that
have.
one for 13 raised?
Well, it was almost up to 14,000 is what it was. So naturally, I went to the region and I said, hey, guys, if you're in the same situation, this is what you need to do. Because I mean, there's only so many hours in a day in the office, and I personally don't want to take the time to have to do a whole new system and all that. So this was I thought this. was
And it's a little
good thing.
cheaper.
Yeah.
Can't be too many companies doing that.
You wouldn't think, eh?
Yeah,
Handful,
there's
but-
a lot,
Really?
actually, yeah. So, so we are, if you are all in agreement, the price I think is very comparable and competitive to the other quotes that I got. They were all within the $7,000 to $9,000, some were a little above $9,000, but it didn't include iPause. So,
And you're.
I'll make a motion that we go with Code Red.
Is that something in their budget and their
I
line
got,
item?
yeah, prove the 5-year contract.
that's fine, yeah.
It comes out of their line item.
And
You know, it comes out of a
They-
911.
they're guaranteeing that price over the whole
So it's
5
about
years. They're not gonna
911?
step up or anything.
Correct.
So it
Yeah,
comes
we're
out of her
locked into
budget.
this for 5 years.
Yeah.
I use that.
So that's good.
So,
I'll support that.
It's
motion.
excellent.
Okay, we have a motion of support to adopt.
Thank you.
Enter into a
Thanks, Sarah.
contract with
well,
Code Red for a 5-year,
Say 15,
Man.
15 grand.
that's the rate of $9,000 a year. Question I had is it, do we have to pay it all upfront or is it
It-
billed annually?
Filled in.
Okay, good, even better. Okay, any other discussion?
No, I just want to clarify it. And when you seconded. right?
I
Yes.
No,
But
don't
you-
clip it.
Yeah,
Yeah, clip it.
Okay. I was in the middle of writing. and then I
Yep.
got-
Yep. I think we're all in favor of it.
There's no more discussion, all involved?
Bailey,
Yes.
Chapa,
Yeah,
Delaney,
Yes.
Heidemann,
Yes.
Sarda.
Yes.
motion carries.
That's one.
Yeah.
Okay, committee reports.
We had nothing so far in personnel. We're going to schedule one coming up, but we had finance on Monday. We discussed our claims audit and Val was here talking about they have to have a meeting for land bank.
Already scheduled.
Yeah, it's already scheduled for tomorrow and that was all we had. So, that's all I've got.
On personnel, where are we at with the building and zoning? With the-
We are talking with,
I will have that discussion with personnel next week.
yes,
When we
Yep.
have a meeting.
it's, either we're gonna
Yeah,
talk
Mike.
with, yeah, we'll just discuss that next week. At the meeting.
Somebody asked me today who the building and zoning guy is.
We have Tony.
Still
I know.
Yeah, we're still
I thought we had the
contracting.
two.
And
two
Don is
people
our
filling in.
building
Gilman.
official.
Gilman.
Yep, Don.
I haven't
Gilman.
heard complaints.
Yep,
I guess they're doing the job, so that's good.
When's Smiley gonna start?
we're gonna discuss that next week in our meeting.
That's for the next week.
Yeah. It's,
Um. I guess then we're to
your special,
Special co-
yeah,
appointment committee. Anybody?
I did send an email to NEMCOG regarding when they might be getting us a contract for being the designated planning agency. The staff told me that Denise, the deputy director, is working with the director, Doug, to put that together, and they're working with multiple counties. I said, well, don't we get some input into it? Oh, yeah, you'll see a draft, but we haven't seen a draft.
Not yet.
So I just wrote a note, kind of jogging them to say, hey, where are we at with that? Because we also wanted to appoint the committee. But I'd like to have our planner people helping us. And I think, Anne Marie, you mentioned about having some sort of chart. We could start
Creating a chart of those
the names.
spaces that you have to
Yeah,
fill in.
yeah, I think there's
and
like
then
12 or
everybody
12.
Put in 1 or 2, whatever they
Yeah.
think.
Yeah,
and
that'd
then
be very
bring it-
helpful because it's gonna take
yeah.
us a while to
take-
find those.
That would be
people.
nice.
Yeah.
Sure. I think there's like
Okay.
11 or 12 spots.
11, yeah,
Yep,
Hopefully in the next couple weeks I'll be able to send that out then.
yeah, things should be calmer after they like. That's in theory,
Sure.
but that's all I have.
That always is.
you got anything for road commission?
Yeah. The August 7th meeting. We paid up $592,627. Include a lot of asphalt projects, though. They received a $58,000 refund from Presque. It's the liability insurance.
Oh, liability insurance, not
Yeah.
workman's comp.
No, liability. They got $58,000 refund. Lake Street special assessment is going well. There was one problem. 200 feet of the platted road was moved and it wasn't moved legally. So now this section is considered a road by user and cannot be accessed. So the road commission can pay for the material and labor used in this section. It's about $5,000. We're just gonna pay for the material on that project. That 200 feet of road. Rogers Township has $42,000 to lock in a project for October 1st, or they're gonna lose it, so they entered into an agreement on a paving project on a piece of road. Let's do that.
Did they report on, I don't mean to butt in, on Presque on 634 there? Where they went, got towards Grant, 638, yes. Where they went towards Grand Lake Highway, they chipped that.
Nine.
Yep, they did that here a couple weeks ago.
Oh, fogged it. Fog.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Lost my train of thought. Bluffs Highway out there by Black Mountain. They're gonna meet with Mark Straley at them and Dave at. Cause they're getting a lot of pressure to do something with Bluffs Highway, so I think they're gonna try for a special assessment,
Is it falling apart or what's going on out there?
yeah.
Is it? I haven't been out there all the time.
They're getting closer with Airport Highway and section 23. They now have plans with R.S. Scott. It's going over them. He gave us copies of the plans. On paving it. And then eventually,
This one 451.
no, from
68
68 up to 23.
68,
Oh, doing the
It's
whole
gonna
thing.
eventually be the business goer arm
Okay.
for that truck route, you know.
How close are they to doing that?
They just submitted R.S. Scott with plans. So, I don't know if it'll get done.
Another 40 years.
Year or two.
How long have we been hearing about that?
Well, they're drawing up the plans now. So.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's law of edges, so it's gonna kick.
it's on the work, it's on the work plan though. I mean, it's gonna happen.
5-year plan.
There is one other thing I wanted to mention. Williams Road update. They received a letter from the owner of, the plant on the Williams Road, and it's from the owner. It's not from the attorney, and he's kind of talking like when you read the letter that he wrote, that he's got that by acquiescence and adverse possession, he can use that because the road commission wasn't maintaining only up to a certain point, which isn't gonna fly, because that's,
Right, that's the entrance going into the plastic plant.
yeah, going to where they park the trailers and block everything
Yep.
off all the time.
Yep.
So they're gonna proceed with that. They just handed the stuff over to the attorney to take care of it. And that's about it. For that meeting. All I got. What I remember and everything. Well, they hardly get off on tangent.
Did they raise the rates?
Yes,
I was gonna
yeah,
go to
we had
the
a
meeting.
public, they opened a public hearing and nobody was there, and they raised the rates to be equal to what the neighboring
Surrounding county.
counties are.
And they had to raise them because we were low.
But they adjusted two of them, the driveway permits to $55. Figured that the 100 was kind of excessive. but-
Okay.
No. But it doesn't buy much these days. Better than it was.
Yeah,
10
It was
bucks.
more than 20.
It was 10.
was it 10?
20, because I paid for one not too long ago. It was 20.
All right, it was $10 if you did something to alter the existing
Oh,
driveway. That's what it was.
Right, I attended an IMSCA meeting Friday and spent most of our time deciding how to evaluate our CEO. And people on the executive committee, and it's 10 different opinions on making sausage. So we're still not done. A lot of things were aired. They wrapped up their food distribution thing. I think they sold a couple of trucks to sell. One was a better one, older one. They're still looking at taking on Port Huron for Head Start. Don't think a decision has been made, but they did. Well, they may have actually. It'll depend on federal Head Start. Oh, and, they found a location in West Branch. They've been looking for one for years, probably. So they've got one, with the, same landlord they have in Powell.
Is that just for Head Start or? for the-
Yeah. right,
Mhm.
They
for
lease
the
it,
classroom. So
they
thought-
lease it,
Pardon?
they lease.
Yeah, and it's in Taos, I think they had a 10-year, it's pretty good deal. So,
Yeah.
and they're good landlord, so. That was a good result.
If
and
you get a good deal, it's better up than having your own, have the upkeep.
Right,
Yep.
yeah, when the HVAC goes to hell.
Yeah,
the landlord. That's all I have. Commissioner comment?
I have nothing.
Got nothing to say.
Well, you have some,
Oh, yeah.
ladies first, go ahead.
I got my copy of, the news alert from Michigan Association of Counties. They were talking about this recent court decision. About when you take a property for lack of taxes, tax payment, you have to give the proceeds above and beyond what was owed back to the owner. But the new decision makes that retroactive. Now, I know our current policy had been corrected and we're doing what we should have, but I have no idea how the retroactive will affect us. So all I'd like to do is have somebody, obviously the treasurer and the clerk have to be involved. But this is gonna be discussed at the fall conference at MAC, but I'm not going to the fall conference, maybe somebody else is. But we need to have corporation counsel and or clerk and treasurer look at this.
Well, we
Retro-
have counsel that the treasurer uses for this particular thing, so
Oh,
I would
good.
imagine, and I know she's going.
Through her association, correct?
Well, not only that, the
Good man.
Charlie Lawler, the one that's been
Yes.
working for us for years.
Yep,
Has been working, so I'm sure he's going to.
Could the treasurer and her counsel update us as to how,
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
sure
how
she
much
will.
risk we're at?
How far back?
Well, I don't know.
It doesn't
Doesn't
state in
say.
the MAC letter, and I didn't have time this week, that's for sure, to look at
This
that.
came
but
to you.
Seems like it couldn't be more than 7 years, but.
I think there's, if you read down, I click on it, I read something, but like I said, I didn't have time to dig into it. 'cause
It
that's
doesn't
kinda-
say how far,
No.
what we've got notified. The news alert doesn't say how far back, and I'm not sure they know. I'm not sure. it's
did you
been
get that in your email?
decided. Yes, from
I
Mac.
wonder what.
I think,
I.
So basically, I would, again, we just get something on a future agenda, but very sooner rather than later, that lets us know where we stand with this matter and how much we're,
He's going to the
Because I think,
MAC conference, not MAC with the T, Treasurers Conference soon. So I'm sure she'll get some updates.
well,
and the other thing is, I think we've been doing it for 3-4 years now.
Hold on a minute.
Really?
Oh, the payback,
Yeah,
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 after
right,
after
yeah.
the suit was settled, yeah.
Right,
But-
so
Um,
I can't imagine it going more than 7 years.
well, I can imagine.
You can,
And the things I imagine aren't pretty, so I'd like to know that I should stop imagining.
yeah, right, okay, fair enough.
wanna know, contact Dana Bosworth.
Yeah.
Bosworth. Maybe I'll call her and ask her.
oh, I have it. I get the emails. I read it.
Okay. Well, it scared the heck out
I
of me.
kind of looked at it.
Yeah.
I wonder how
Um,
many properties. were-
The other item I have, was a phone call I received with a citizen concern about, the solar project. And the citizen had just learned the news that I think we all know, that one condition on our land use permit for DTE was to require that a dispute resolution process be be kept in order throughout the construction season. And this individual had just learned about that was a condition of the permit. And I said, well, you know, it was approved by the planning commission. The process was approved. It didn't come when we approved the permit. It came a month or 6 weeks later. So they came in with a written process about who to call and how the different steps of dispute resolution would occur. And the planning commission adopted it because the condition said a dispute resolution process acceptable to the planning commission. So DTE brought it in, planning commission unanimously accepted it, and so it's enforced. The individual said, well, why didn't you publicize it? Why? I said, it's in the minutes of the meeting. So I referred the person over to the building and zoning department to get a copy of the thing. And, you know, of course they called when I was driving. So I said, hey, I don't have my records. So when I got home, I sent them a copy of it, and so did the building department. But the beauty of the process is the building department doesn't take the complaints. The complaints go to DTE, and that's the whole point. So that our office doesn't get mucked up with
Overloaded.
all this
That's
stuff.
right.
And so I just want to let you know, and I don't see that it's our responsibility to buy a billboard and put the process out on I-75,
DTE can do that.
whatever.
Yeah.
But
should
it's
be
in
us.
the official records and it's enforced.
Right.
Or
They
or
contact
they
them and go
refer
from
to
there.
contact.
Yeah, the numbers and the names to contact are right in the
Yeah.
policy. So just to let you know, my friends, if you have complaints or concerns that you hear from citizens, we have this policy. It's been adopted. The copies are available at the building and zoning office, and they can contact DTE and, you know, do whatever, you know, follow the process, I guess. So that's good. That's a good thing. So that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I don't know. Others have seen this, but, I know we got their Spark grant for their trailhead. So that was a biggie for them, good for them. I know they've been working on it a long time, so.
Yeah.
It's good that we got some Spark money up north,
Yes,
since there was an issue.
doesn't
about
come
that.
up here very often.
That's
Well,
right.
Very, very
Not
seldom.
very much,
Okay.
so that's good. The other thing I don't know, we saw the email about the HVAC thing. It just
Yeah,
seems
I
like
said
that. Yeah, I know he did, but I don't know, if you look like the schedule is awful close to the deadline. Or maybe even past it. Wasn't there something that wasn't?
Well, we have, by the end of this
January?
year, we have to designate the money. We don't have to spend the money.
I know, but doesn't that mean bids?
No,
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 designated for
okay.
a
We're
project.
just gonna designate it for that project.
right.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
I'm
And
glad
we've
you brought-
already really done that. I mean, I think I'd have to verify with Belle when they did the, I don't know if Bridget was still here, or if it was Belle that did it.
Well, that's not
Hey,
until
Rick.
December, but we should review it before that
I
time.
know, but we have to, in the annual report that they do in April, I don't know, I think it might have been done then.
Okay.
I
I
haven't looked at it.
along those lines, I did also email Eagle because we put in for that grant. From the proceeds of this host community because of the solar project. And we were going to use that money also. So I said, hey, where are we at? You told me this would happen right away. And well, we're sorry, it's startup. We haven't done this before. It's taken us longer than we thought. But I think, I'm not guaranteeing that in the next couple weeks, you'll hear something.
Well, good,
No,
good.
because the money for HVAC will meet or exceed what we've got available in the, I mean,
Well, let's hope not, but.
yep.
Okay.
If we can save some of the ARPA money to use for other purposes,
That'd be great.
that would be great.
Right. Or just use that for.
For
the other-
Right.
Next,
anyway, it added to the pot, so.
Exactly.
I guess for the government officials, you wanna go first or last?
I'll let Al go.
Okay, Al, you're up.
I really don't have a whole lot. Anne Reed probably fill you in on the underground storage tank, the paperwork.
Yeah.
He signed it,
I
yeah.
signed
They
it.
approved it before,
Oh,
so
okay.
signed
Yeah.
it, ready to go.
Hopefully by the time the snow falls, we'll have that done and over with. The walls maybe will be cold, we'll have the ground graded and it'll be easier to maintain.
Yeah,
Good.
That'll be out of our hair. Windsock, I'm still waiting for paint. I got the primer, waiting for paint to put that up, and I still gotta do. Not gonna put it up because I don't want to take it down again. Once I get it up, I'd like to leave it up. I don't want to be messing with it because we can't get parts. So as soon as I get the paint, I can get that prime painted, we'll get that back up. The other windsock has to come down too. Both of them need some electrical insulation work done. I can do it myself. It's not a matter of anything more than just putting some new weatherproof conduit pipe on it. I don't know if you would prefer I call an electrician, but it's
probably should though.
not a big deal. It's just a matter of disconnecting, turning the power off, disconnecting two wires, pulling the old flexible conduit off, cutting a new piece, putting it on and reconnecting it. I don't know if you prefer I call an electrician to do that. That'll just tie things up and
Well, probably would.
delay. I mean, it's not great.
Well, we'll leave it up to your discretion.
Okay, I'm gonna do it myself. Nobody else goes out there in the field and messes with it except me anyway. So it's no danger to the public.
Make sure the power is off.
Yeah, I'm really good at that. But other than that, we're almost done that, 890 gallons of fuel we took. It's just about all gone. I'll probably have to order some fuel next week, so fuel sales.
Probably have to fuel up 2 more times here before winter, eh?
At least one time
Yep.
probably.
Yep.
See what happens if sales continue the way they are. It could be two, but
Yep.
right now, I'm looking at one.
Was summer busy?
Pardon me?
Was summer busy?
July was slower than previous Julys, but making up for it in August here, I don't know why.
What do we charge for that aviation? fuel?
It's $6.85 a gallon.
Hell, who was that here about 3 weeks ago with that little green helicopter?
They came from, Pete and I talked
France.
about- They came from France.
It was
They
on
left in
the
April.
front of the paper, or not in the front.
Yeah, it was in the advance.
Oh, okay.
John almost
Helicopter
bought
all the
one.
way.
You know what, Al, I have a little bone to pick with you about that. I don't know why you didn't send a picture into the paper of me flying it.
You were flying it?
Oh. But I got pictures with the pilots.
Yeah, John was in the vibe, but he did have his checkbook. with him.
Yeah.
But they flew over from France. They came all the way.
It's
from Northern
amazing.
Europe, across
In a
the
chopper?
Atlantic. Yeah,
In that-
Gyrocopter.
Yeah, it's a small little thing.
Well, you gotta check out the advance. The pictures there. It's pretty weird
Yeah.
looking.
They-
Yeah, it's
It's not weird, look,
They
it's
crossed the
cool.
Atlantic Ocean, they put extra
Not
tanks
sure I'd
in
cross the
it.
Atlantic.
They're about 70 knots was the speed they had to use for the range. Came through Greenland, Iceland, Canada, came down through the Sioux cleared customs in the Sioux that morning, went over to Frankfurt, came over, spent the night with us. Had a
Yeah.
Great time. They enjoyed
Wow.
the town, thought it was a really neat walkable, which they liked. And then they headed off to Oshkosh where they were gonna leave it, going to a distributor, then they were going back to conventional.
Yeah.
So was that made
In France.
in France?
Man, I wouldn't wanna go down in the chopper.
Wow.
We don't get any fuel sales with that Northern Strike one, do we?
I'm sorry?
That Northern Strike, that military exercise, those guys don't.
No, Alpena, they put that back together,
Oh, he's got it.
Civil Air Patrol was able to operate their, full exercise.
It's just a little dang thing.
Alpena
I'd never fly that across the.
Yeah, it's small.
But
Here's some pictures.
Yeah,
Here's some pictures.
I
of
see
That's
it.
a nice.
Me and the
Yeah.
pilot.
And he took on fuel here too.
yeah, he took,
Yeah.
I think, all 6 gallons.
Yeah,
Is it gas or turbine?
It's.
it's 100 octane.
It actually is, manufactured first, they run it on auto fuel.
Oh,
They can't run it
Yeah.
on.
Is there
on
a-
gas.
Yeah. Oh,
What's top speed on there?
70 knots. Wow, that's what they,
70 knots across the ocean in order to extend the range.
what altitude? 5,000?
Very low.
Wow.
yeah, very, it'd have to be, because that's not very big.
It's not very big.
They make drones bigger than that.
They
Here's
have
a picture of me and the pilot.
suits on.
I seen him there that one day. I almost damn stopped and pulled in.
Well, I
I was
happened
gonna
to
get a
be
picture too.
there,
I
well.
wanted to see
he
the
was there,
inside of it.
but, yeah.
And we have
Now I'm mad I didn't.
one tenant sell his airplane, so we have an open hangar. It'll be open till November. Dean Storms is gonna take it through the winter, and we've got a
It's-
guy coming back to take it. And the.
I seen it.
Still have, we'll have.
Now I'm mad I didn't stop.
Fully full. So we hopefully get, we've had a lot of calls on that. And we're still sending out, information packets on it to contractors.
For the hangar,
So they, MDOT has contacted a couple, I mean, I really appreciate it.
Yep.
They've sent out a couple packets to contractors. And, so. we're gonna
What's
see-
the deadline?
It's September 13th, which is the Friday. which,
Good luck.
uh, Not being superstitious. but
Yeah,
just,
right.
So we're hopeful, and the people I did talk to were pretty excited about it, whether we get a steel hanger or whether it is a timber hanger, just to remind everybody, it's gonna be dependent on the price and what the contract is.
well, that's why the specs will be written to do either way,
Right.
Which I think helped with getting more.
Whatever
Yeah.
we can do.
Yeah.
in
More
this
bidders,
favor
right?
and get it
Yeah.
done.
exactly.
It's where it is.
So, Alan, a different topic, I heard that a citizen gave you a hard time about the mowing.
But I handled it way better than Wayne did at the marina. I was on the edge.
Well, I would just say that you can always refer that kind of thing to the Building and Grounds Committee.
I-
You don't have to take that.
I gave him, I told him he could contact Mike and come to one of the.
Exactly.
About mowing out there.
He was a bit upset, he's also a bit confused, because when he did stop to catch his breath, I reminded him 3 times that the triangle across 23 and 451 had been cut 3 days prior. And he looked over his shoulder and he said, oh, I didn't notice. And I said, yeah. I said, this has all been cut. MDOT was out inspected the AWAS on the 30th. They said the place looked great. We talked about the grass growing this season. He said the AWAS was fine. They have 10 inches recommended. That's perfectly fine. It's just that the fella had thought that, he was convinced the rule was 8 inches, and, when he was here and Mike Germain was in charge and they had to do this. He didn't go on the field, but he knew I was doing it wrong.
Well, you don't need to put up with that, Alan.
Absolutely.
I did very good. I'm really proud of myself. I knew what I wanted to say, but I knew what I should say, and so I wanted
And you
that.
knew what you didn't want to say too.
Yeah, so I just simply refer to Mike is the Rogers City.
Right, right.
And I hate to put it on Mike, but I just warned Mike that he might have.
Well, Mike and Wayne are the Building and Grounds Committee, so that's
And I
correct.
told him, I said, I'll wait for his phone call, which I know he'd never call.
Yeah,
But, other than that, I mean, we're good. We've got, the grass is cut to meet safety standards, to meet functional standards, also to deter wildlife. And we've been good on all 3. The south side of the airport has not been cut yet, the very south portion. And that does not get cut,
Until the very end.
until the very end,
Yeah.
because it does prevent the deer. It has really restricted the deer coming through.
Yeah.
So there's probably 60 feet. I use as a wildlife fence, and deer don't come through, and as long as the guy in Petersville Road stops shooting the coyotes. I don't.
The grass keeps.
as I told the gentleman who called about the solar, thank you for your input. That's always a good,
Yeah, yeah.
How does the
Cut the
grass
legs
keep
off.
the deer? Oops.
Um,
How does the grass keep the deer?
They don't appear, when I took the job first, I had as many as 34 deer on the airport. I now, if I see 3, I'm lucky. They do not like to come into the tall grass. They like to eat the low crop.
Yeah,
crop.
the young shoots,
You're
yep.
Getting the young stuff growing, the taller grass kind of inhibits what they like to eat. They don't like to stick their face in it. And the coyotes do, apparently they're aware the coyotes do lurk in the tall grass.
Yeah. I mean, your freezer's full of venison.
So we haven't had any coyote problems with aircraft. We haven't any deer problems with aircraft, so I've done extensive reading on it, with Canadians do what the Air Force does, what the FAA recommends. I've chosen the path and knocked on wood so far it seems to work.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, keep them up.
Well, nobody knew we had an election this week. haven't caught up on sleep yet. It went fairly, the elections went fairly well, as predicted, 35% voter turnout, that's right on what I anticipated. Past, like,
35?
Based on
Oh,
past
pretty good.
4 year, every 4 years at this time, stuff like that. Then you always look at the millages, if you're gonna need to, is it gonna bring it up or something like that? All the millages passed, flying colors, which is good. So our SRO, Stanway School.
The pike up.
Pike up,
and the
yeah,
pike up, yes.
and the ambulance, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
there was a township one too. No major issues, just little blips in the road that I'm used to. Got out of here about 1:30 that night, but, canvas was today. It is complete. But this is the first time we've had a move ballot not returned. And the law allows for that ballot to come up to 6 days after. If it's postmarked by election day, then we have to count it. So we're just waiting on that, and we'll reconvene on Wednesday to certify the election then. I've never had to reconvene so far away, but from the actual time, but that's what it is, so we will do that. Go from there, but no, it was a long day today for the canvassers. They were here from 9 till 4:30.
Wow.
But we used to do 18 precincts, different things. Well, now with the 9-day early voting with 7 precincts and the books being so long, it takes about 3 times as long as a normal one, so you're looking really more. And the first time we had a new canvasser. And not first time going through it, but first time with new paperwork that the state gate provided. So just took their time and got through it. So hopefully that's it.
Was there any issues throughout the state that you know of? Anyone?
Other than my friend down in St. Joe area again having to shut down because of tornadoes, second time in a row.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
so
So what happens with that? Do they extend their voting time then?
it all depends on the scenario. The state has to make decisions based on that. It goes to the court. It's a whole thing. So we never predict what it's gonna, but we try to prepare, like when I trained, I think about what if. What would you do in this scenario or this scenario? You can't predict every scenario, you can't plan for every scenario. But be aware that stuff can happen, emergencies can happen. So, from the person that has a medical emergency to, power outage.
Paperclip being eaten.
Yes, we had one of
Oh,
those.
in one of the machines? Yeah. I can see where that'd be a problem.
Apparently was.
So no, and
Was it
my
yours?
office did great again and knocked it out of the park. We're preparing for November. I already got.
I tell you what, there's gonna be a zoo in November here at City Hall.
Henry, I noticed
Oh.
that the Alpena News had the incorrect
They did.
prosecutors thing.
Yeah, the numbers right.
They had the numbers right, but attributed to the wrong party, so.
And I didn't see it in the morning when I saw the news. I didn't see our article anywhere because I just looked on my phone. I didn't see it anywhere, so I couldn't read it, but it wasn't until, well, actually quite a bit later that someone notified me. I emailed them right away and they said they had already been notified and corrected it. So, and they were gonna have a retraction the next day.
Well, they didn't.
Okay.
They corrected the information when they showed the full results today, but I called them and told them, hey, you have to acknowledge this error.
Yeah.
And it was on the front page for
Yeah,
heaven's sakes.
right, yeah.
So they have a rewrite section and they did not retract.
Well,
They corrected, but did
Yeah,
not
I-
acknowledge.
Big out, yeah.
like I said, I don't see the full paper.
They're not the advance, right? Pete? They're
You got it,
not,
right?
they're not the advance. I don't know what they are.
So other than that,
The count. That's good.
I was reached out to by Miss Davis, who I thought was on the 1 second grant that we wrote, that 350. But she was just confirming, who was gonna be there for next week, so.
For the
you're all-
presentation.
Yep, you're all set to
Oh.
go there.
Oh, good,
Cool.
good.
Well, we had to they gave us a
10-minute.
Oh,
template
yeah,
to
right,
put
yeah,
slides.
yeah, yeah.
Oh,
If we had a presentation slide, so myself and Susan Radka from Akiak Township got together and made the filled in template. And you only get 10 minutes, so we have a total of 5 slides and then comments. So those were sent already to the Eagle staff and.
Cool.
Or pardon me, DNR
yeah,
staff.
DNR, yeah, oh, yeah. Oh, that's
Good.
good.
Other than that, I think you guys saw the maintenance. Mike's
The pictures?
emails,
Yep.
some of the issues, nothing astronomical, but just that he's on top of them.
Yeah.
What were
Yeah,
the
we're-
tire tracks?
Well,
Like
the trailer that pulled out, he turned too quick. And the back tire just spun the
Had
black.
asphalt?
Yeah,
It was
so
hot,
hot.
it was
but-
so hot.
Oh,
And it's
Yeah.
only a couple of, well,
Look-
You know, and I had my
Look,
little
but-
trailer set up.
looked pretty deep.
It was deep.
Yeah.
And it rolled it.
What is there, 2 inches of asphalt on it?
We might have a little bit better than two, because that had about an inch and a half hole.
Well, plus there were a couple of imprints from, the jacks that were.
That was
going up.
mine. And I told Mike, I said, you know what we gotta do is get, and he said the same thing. Next year,
Plywood,
all our tires have to be on plywood and all your jacks have to be on plywood.
Yep. that'd be
Yeah.
good.
But I'm gonna tell you what, they got that dumpster there. We had no problems with garbage at all, none.
When you said next time a bigger dumpster.
It's gotta be a bigger dumpster.
So what-
Cause the last day we had to take our garbage
What about
home.
the guy who,
Dump the
threw
oil.
grease down the
We
storm
don't-
drain?
Well, we
that's the
don't,
city's
now,
dealing with
that,
it.
the city, did they pump that today?
I don't know.
And
just
I don't
have a
need,
feeling like
yeah,
it.
I didn't talk to
Down the
much.
storm drain?
Well, it could be from the rain, when it washes down, it could be from anything, it could have been from your car or something. It was just a film, looked like grease, but that could be oil too.
Okay,
So it doesn't necessarily mean that it was
okay,
a grease,
okay,
Yeah.
good.
because they were dumping all their grease in containers just like I was. And they were, some of them were putting their grease containers in the dumpster. I took mine home. I didn't put it in a dumpster, but I didn't see anybody
Just
dumping it down. No.
Okay,
So it could have been when we had that little bit of rain, it could have watched it from anywhere. It could have been a little bit of, and some of the times when the asphalt gets really
oh,
hot,
yeah.
you
it
can have the
sheds.
oil
Yeah.
film coming off the asphalt too,
Yeah.
so. This is a little bit different, but we can't really say for sure that it was truly
Okay.
grease.
So all in all, sounds like it.
Yeah,
ended
but
well.
everything went pretty well, yes.
Right.
Other than the bathrooms. Staff can't, people use the indoor bathrooms and staff can't keep up on them. They destroy them.
Really?
It's sad.
So
bathrooms
is that during the day on Friday?
The door is
Because
open.
on
and they come
Saturday,
to
they're not
Church
open.
John's.
How come they don't have porta potties?
They do,
Yeah,
they-
they're
got-
they're
got-
right there by Second Street.
and some over here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
and
they
in
come
here.
in anyway, the door's open, it's unlocked.
They
it's a
come here.
public Building.
Yeah, that's true.
My God.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be a tough one.
Well, and on Saturday and Sunday, they don't happen because it's locked.
No, but
We got Thursday, Friday.
the reason we put those all over gut greener.
Yeah.
Yep, but that's what it is.
Okay, correspondence?
You do have a thank you card from the summer, 4-H summer rec program. You signed it,
Well, the kids sign, cool.
Good.
so appreciate.
Sound like that went well again.
Yeah, just, says the kids learned about science, nutrition, and local history. Created art projects and field trips, so they're
Good.
just appreciative of the support from the board.
And most for payroll.
Sport.
A motion for the payroll. Yeah.
Laney,
Yes.
Heidemann,
Yes,
Durga,
Yes,
Bailey.
Yes.
Motion carried.
motion, I'll make a motion to adjourn till August 30th, 9:30 AM. Subject call chair.
support.
Carried. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Return. That's been an hour.